Hey, let's talk about a feeling. A really specific feeling that might be a little too familiar for some of you. It's that feeling you get when you're stuck in a place that, on paper, you're supposed to love. Welcome to what we're calling the architect's escape.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? You did everything right. You landed the good job. The one with the respectable title, the decent salary, the one your parents brag about. So why does it sometimes feel, well, just plain bad?
The source material for this whole idea uses this really powerful, kind of jarring phrase to describe that feeling. It's not just a case of the Mondays. For some people, a typical career path can feel like a slow death for their spirit, for their creativity, for everything that makes them them. So let's really unpack that. What is this slow death feeling, and where does it even come from? It's way more than just being bored. It's this deep, fundamental mismatch between who you really are and what your job asks you to do every single day.
And this is the paradox that can drive you crazy. Because from the outside, you look like a success story. Everyone thinks you've got it made. But inside, you just feel stuck. It's like you're on a treadmill. You're putting in all the work, you're sweating, but you're not actually going anywhere new.
Well, this whole experience actually has a name, and just giving it a name is the first step to figuring it out. The source material calls it the boredom trap. So let's step inside and see what it's all about.
Now, pay attention to the words here, because they're important. Chronic understimulation and rigid structures. This isn't about you being lazy or unmotivated. Nope. It's about being a high-performance engine that's stuck in first gear. Okay, this part is absolutely crucial, so I want you to hear it loud and clear. If this is all ringing a bell for you, the problem isn't you. It is not a personal failure. You are a square peg, and the world is trying to hammer you into a round hole. That feeling? That's just the friction.
So, why? Why does this mismatch even happen in the first place? Well, according to our source, it really just boils down to two fundamental human needs. Two needs that most traditional jobs are, frankly, terrible at meeting. And here they are. First, high novelty. That's your inner explorer, right? It's the part of you that gets a thrill from starting something new but feels totally drained by routine maintenance. Then there's autonomy. That's your inner director, the part of you that needs to own the project, to call the shots, not just blindly follow a checklist.
And right there, that's the conflict. Big companies, big organizations, they run on predictability. They love systems and processes because it keeps things stable. But your core needs, that hunger for novelty and your demand for autonomy, they are the sworn enemies of predictability.
So what if we reframe this entire thing? What if these needs of yours aren't actually problems? What if they're the defining features of a very specific type of person? This brings us to a really cool idea, the architect.
You gotta let this sink in, because this is a total game changer. That craving you have for new challenges, that deep need for freedom, it is not a flaw in your character. It's the blueprint for who you are. You're not broken, you're just built differently. So an architect is defined by three main things. We already talked about the first two, a drive for high novelty and a deep need for autonomy. But it's this third one, this constant search for leverage, that really sets the architect apart from everyone else.
And this is the end game for an architect. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter on a massive scale. An architect doesn't want to just lay bricks one by one. They want to design the factory that can make 1 million bricks a day while they work on something else. That is leverage.
Okay, so you see the trap now. You get your personal blueprint. The final and most important question is, what are you going to do about it? How do you actually design your own escape?
The path forward is actually pretty simple, which doesn't mean it's easy, of course. Step 1, you have to look around and consciously recognize that you're in the trap. Step 2, you have to stop apologizing for how you're built and start honoring those needs for novelty and autonomy. And finally, step 3, you use that architect brain of yours to strategically build your way out. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Once you start seeing yourself as an architect, it completely changes the game. The question is no longer, what job should I go get? It becomes something so much more powerful, so much more exciting. The blueprint is yours. So, what are you going to build next?